Triumph Thunderbird 900 Best Motorcycle Review, Steel Tube Spine. The Triumph Thunderbird 900 was one of Hinckley Triumph's first big hits. Unlike the original Speed Triple 900, though, which now feels and looks a little dated, the retro-look T-Bird is still relevant. Triumph Thunderbird 900 is a great used buy. The 900 T-Bird was a reasonable hit for Triumph back in the day and, if anything, is even more popular today. That's due not just to the current fashion for retros and the T-Bird's bigger, three-cylinder body appeal, but also to its still relevant 70 brake horsepower performance, its durability and reliability. There's also classy build quality and detailing. On these early ones the amount of polished alloy is simply mouth-watering, plus its timeless style. As a result, prices, particularly of good ones, are on the rise, especially for the most potent and best-performing Thunderbird Sport. However, if you prefer classic chrome and alloy, a decent original Hinckley Thunderbird can still be had for under £4,000. It's also, being a retro roadster, still a decent ride, too. The Triple puts out a fruity-sounding 70 brake horsepower with plenty of flexible drive. It's comfortable, relatively low and easy but prone to backfiring. All the early Mikuni bikes do it, apparently. The T-Bird was quickly joined by the more cruisery Y Adventurer 900 and the faster, better-handling Thunderbird Sport, which, though less retro, is the most desirable 900 T-Bird of all, launched in 1998, and more basic, cheaper Legend TT. Ride quality and brakes. Easy to dismiss as a soft, laid-back custom. In truth, the Triumph Thunderbird 900, complete with monoshock rear end, may be a tad tall, blame the scaffold pole steel spine frame, and heavy, but it cuts a decent dash nevertheless. Twin disc ed, lower barred Triumph Thunderbird Sport is better yet. Single disc standard bikes can be under-braked. It's very comfy, too. The rear monoshock is an item that can begin to feel tired, but is easily refreshed by a specialist. Failed fork seals are also a common issue according to dealers, so check for evidence of oil leaking. The brakes also take a hiding. Engine. For our money, the Triumph Thunderbird 900 hosts one of the best incarnations of the original Hinckley triple motor. The 885 cubic centimeters 3 has been detuned from Trident and Trophy spec to give even more low-down oomph. Wound open it sounds like a squadron of Lancasters, and with restyled chromey and curvy engine cases it looks the business too. A classic. Don't be alarmed if you experience backfires when test riding a Thunderbird, this is a known trait of the engine. Reliability and build quality. Like most early Hinckley Triumphs, the Triumph Thunderbird 900 benefited from engineering paranoia to the extent that it is massively over-engineered, understressed, and pretty durable, too. The downside of that is the Triumph Thunderbird 900 is a little heavier than it has to be, but, in this context at least, I think we can live with that. Triumph Thunderbird 900 Owners Reviews. After 27 years on sale, we've got 22 Triumph Thunderbird Owners Reviews on the site. The bike scores 4.1 out of 5 stars overall, with buyers stating the brakes and suspension need work after a few years of regular use. The only issues we tend to see with them are fuel problems. Because they're the sort of bike that's not used all the time, they are more sunny Sundays than commuters, the fuel system is very prone to clogging up. The other thing we see is the coils packing up, which causes running problems. In fact, so much so that we usually keep coils in stock. As for the engine, as long as the battery's kept fully charged all the time, so you don't have starter clutch issues, it's bulletproof. It'll go forever. Corrosion is something you need to watch out for, because people don't clean them properly. That's it though. Keep on top of that and you'll be absolutely fine. Looks and cosmetics are really important on bikes like this. There's no real difference between the Mikuni carved ones and the Keihin ones. They probably got a better deal off Keihin, that's all. The Mikunis are an old-style carburetor, which is very similar to those on the old GSX-RS. Everybody used the same sort of carbs at that point. We don't see too many mechanical issues because the first generation of machines from the reborn Triumph were heavily engineered to ensure reliability. As such, they don't have the injection problems of some of the later bikes. They do tend to knock out a few fork seals, though, and we see those from time to time. The brakes take a good hiding as well because there's only a single disc on the front. But, as long as they're cosmetically looked after, there's nothing to worry about, and they're still very popular, too. Any engine problems would probably be due to the owner not keeping the oil topped up. They did several models, from the Adventurer to the Legend and Sport, but as for any differences between them, it's only really a styling thing. There are no real mechanical differences. They're built like tanks. The spoked wheels last well, although the brakes need to be serviced when the bike is. The only pain in the arse is the air filter because it's part of the airbox. To replace the air filter, you've got to replace the airbox itself, which will cost you about £55. Value versus rivals. Finally killed off by ever-toughening Euro emissions regulations, the Triumph Thunderbird 900 was a fairly long-lived favorite, so there's plenty to choose from. They also tend to be well looked after, cosmetically enhanced, and fairly low mileage. If you're considering a Triumph Thunderbird 900, you may also consider a Kawasaki W800, a Yamaha SCR 950, and even Triumph's own Bonneville T100. Equipment. Not a lot to get excited about, but what it has it does well, and there is a big fat Triumph accessories catalog accompanying the Triumph Thunderbird 900 to tempt you into upping the spec. Analog clocks, chrome mirrors, comfy seat etc. are all decent, but factory king and queen seat, noisier pipes, and they do sound wonderful, chrome cosmetics etc. are common fitments on the Triumph Thunderbird 900. Like many retros/cruisers, cosmetic add-ons are plentiful for the T-Bird and are all part of the ownership pleasure. This one has the visually identical but far noisier off-road P-Shooter silencers, a heartily recommended optional main stand, plus chunky alloy grab rail, chrome chain guard and slightly lower Bonneville handlebars, which bolt straight on. It also has a replacement EBC front disc, a chopped-down, rear mudguard, slightly dubious alloy rider and pillion pegs and a crafty, brighter idiot LED light bulb upgrade.